Okay, welcome, EXP peeps to 2021 series of 105 Expert Town Hall with the experts. And I'm Terry Jeffries. I'm the manager of Express Offers Development. Thank you for joining us today. I've got Julie Rasmussen, who is our Express Offers Program Manager. We are partners in crime with all things Express Offers. And today, boy, do we have a treat for you. We have got a rock star expert in all things Express Offers, Julie Clark. Julie is from Washington, and I'll give you a little bit of a bio on Julie Clark. So, she's a broker, obviously, at EXP in Seattle, Washington since April of 2019. She's been living the real estate lifestyle for 25 years and loving every moment. Julie is an expert on how to converse with buyers and sellers beyond traditional real estate, and she's here to teach you everything she knows. Oh, thanks, Julie. She's the co founder of Seattle Investors Club, which has been in existence since 2012 with hundreds of members who are investors, brokers, lenders, builders, and more. Julie is also the host of a popular national podcast with over 130 shows called The Nuts and Bolts of Real Estate Investing. You guys might want to Google that and jump in the podcast. Catch all the big nuggets Julie drops weekly, both agents and investors. Check out our YouTube channel for Seattle Investors Club. Feel free to contact Julie directly to discuss more about Express Offers or how you can join eXp Realty and become part of her VIP education company, a free coaching and collaboration community for brokers in all states where she shares all of her strategies, tips, resources, and more. Collaboration equals confidence. Welcome, Julie Clark. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, geez, Terry, I think you just said it all, making me feel good this morning. No, I appreciate that. Yes, I am a broker out here in the PNW, the Pacific Northwest, home of eXp Realty Corporate. Proud to be with eXp, been loving every moment of it. I talk a lot, so you guys are going to get like a lot of information today. And feel free to reach out to me directly through the chat or however, connect with me. You can connect with me weekly. We can talk about later how to do that if you want. Real easy, but yeah, I'm just here to help. Happy to be
Excellent.
here with my two new
Excellent.
best friends.
Right? So, you guys, this format is meant to not only provide value and, of course, give you some golden nuggets, but we'd like it to be a little conversational. It's a little less formal, than some of the presentations you're used to. We really want to make this a safe place. Get your questions answered, but let me give you just a quick overview of how we're going to structure today. And our topic is, let's talk to sellers. So, we're going to be talking with Julie Clark. She's going to tell you how she talks to sellers, some of the scripts and dialogues that she uses. And we're going to kind of break this down into three different sections. So, the beginning is, what do you say? Your follow up with sellers. How do you stay focused on what they're actually asking for, which is a cash offer? Now, keep in mind, our discussion today is all Express Offers centric. So, we're talking about how to use the platform, how to have conversations, how to talk about cash offers. The middle section is going to talk about, determining the seller's goals and needs. Julie's going to talk to you about how to vet their situation and see if they even qualify for a cash offer, and then lead you to getting the appointment. And then lastly, we're going to wrap it up with the end, which is going to be keeping control of the lead. So, what is your plan B? And Julie's going to talk about that. So, with no further ado, we want to get through some of the presentation part of this so we have plenty of time for questions and answers. You can feel free to put questions in the chat box. Please leave your mics muted, and we'll call on you if we need you to open up your mic and so that we can have a conversation In the background, Julie Rasmussen is going to be dropping really important links for you guys to get more information, to get linked up with Julie Clark. And so she's going to be manning the chat box in the background. So, Julie Clark, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys, let's get straight to it. So,
You
we
know
are
what,
gonna.
Julie? I'm going
Oh,
to interrupt you. Look, I interrupt you before you even get started. Let's warm up the chat box real quick, you guys. Just tell me how many of you are you actually certified? So type a yes or a no in the box just so that we kind of know who we're talking to. And oh, I see a couple no's. Julie Rasmussen, maybe you can drop the link in on how to get certified. Ooh, some almosts. Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're so glad you joined us today. All right, Julie Clark, sorry about that. Just wanted to see who we were talking to.
yeah, no worries. This is such a good tool, you guys. I'll just point it out. If you haven't gotten certified yet, you should absolutely do this because it is. Sellers don't know what they don't know, right? They think they need the cash offers are talked about all over the place today with all the players out there offering cash offers. So it's going to be more and more common for people just to even be curious if they want a cash offer, and you want to be in on that game because it really doesn't matter whether they're qualified or not. A lead is a lead. And today, what we're going to do is one of the things we'll talk about is how to control the situation, even if they're not qualified for a cash offer, or if it doesn't work out for them. So, no worries on that. A lead is a lead. This is a lead generation platform that is doing a great job, I know, for a lot of people. So, let's get straight to it. You've signed up for Express Offers, you're certified. You've picked one of the programs, which maybe Julie and Terry will cover for you guys here today and what those are. And now all of a sudden you've got your first lead and you're worried. What do I even say to them? Right? It's your first time, or maybe you're uncomfortable with being on the phone, or how do you reach out to people about an Express Offers lead that you've been notified at? And I'm going to give you the exact words on what I do so we don't overcomplicate it, right? I get a lead and then I call them first and I leave a voicemail if they don't answer. Hello, this is Julie Clark with Express Offers. I've been notified about your potential interest in receiving a cash offer for your property. I'm just calling to follow up and give you the details of how that would work. That's it. Give me, and then I give them my contact information. Then that's very short and sweet. That's all you need to say. And I send that in an email, and I send that also in a text, right? One of the tricks is to call back twice, 2 times in a row, just as a little side nugget there. If they don't pick up the first time, maybe hang up and call them back right away again. Sometimes people will pick up on the second one if they don't pick up on the first one. So call once, do nothing. Immediately call back. If they don't answer, leave the voicemail. Again, I'll say it again. Hi, this is Julie Clark from Express Offers. I've been notified about your potential interest in a cash offer for your property. I'm just calling to follow up with you and give you the details about that. You can reach me at whatever, right? I don't say, I personally don't say, this is Julie Clark with EXP. I don't say that because they don't know what that is. They know what Express Offers is because they just filled out a form or they did something related to Express Offers. If they contact you, you'll have plenty of time to tell them that you're the EXP Realty and follow whatever licensing rules there are. So that's it. Um, anybody want to ask me anything about that, or should I just keep cruising? All right. Anybody? Going once, going twice. All right, I'm going to keep going here. So now let's just assume that you got them on the phone, right? Your intent of when you get them on the phone, because you need to get them on the phone, or you might get them on text, but we're going to go on the phone first. When you get them on the phone, you're going to just recover what you left on your voicemail, or just say, well, I simply just say, hey, Terry, so tell me what's going on. You're thinking about selling your property. Tell me a little bit more about why you've decided to sell. And then zip it. Wait till they see what they say. There's 2 points to your phone conversation. One is your intelligence gathering. Okay, your intelligence gathering so you can learn about their property and maybe be able to do an estimated net sheet based on the information that you're gathering during that phone call. So you can bring that with you on your appointment. That's one thing. Gathering info about their house and the condition of their house. Is your basement finished, or how old is your roof? You have double or single pane windows. And you can if you're uncomfortable going straight to that, you can just say, do you mind if I ask you a few questions, so I can, learn about your house a little bit more, so I can give you the best information. Nobody's going to say no. That's all you have to say. Um, and you're gathering information about the house for your net sheet. You're also gathering intelligence about their unique personal situation, because frankly, it does not matter what condition their house is in. Because if you're in areas like Vegas or Phoenix or Orlando or some of these places where some of the other iBuyers are there, like the Zillows and the Open Doors, people are selling pretty houses, I'll call them, all the time, close to market value. So it really doesn't matter what people might be relocating. It doesn't matter what their situation is on why they might be willing to accept a discount. They don't have to have a beat up house, is what I'm saying. But what you're trying to do is gather intelligence about what their unique personal situation is. Why? Because that's going to be your roadmap on how you lead them down the path and how you keep control ultimately of this lead, right? We don't really care if it's a cash offer situation or not, even though we are so grateful to have the Express Offers platform, which is where we can bring those cash buyers if those houses qualify, right? But otherwise, we want to keep control of those leads to just convert them into a listing or whatever else we can do. Bring a buyer maybe off market. So you are intelligence gathering about their situation. One of the questions I ask is, well, that sounds great, Terry. Your house sounds nice, or whatever I want to say there on that conversation part. And I try to ask, if I can keep the conversation going on the phone, I'll say, have you already figured out where you're moving to? Have you identified where that's going to be? That is a great question for intelligence, because that tells you, one, how serious and ready they are, right? It'll also, it reveals a lot of information about their unique situation. Okay. So make sure you ask that if you can get that far in the conversation. Then I will just, to keep this moving, I'll say the last question after you're conversing with them, as long as you can. Let's say I said, okay, Terry, we've set an appointment for Tuesday at 3 p.m. I look forward to seeing you at that time, and we can talk about a cash offer and what that looks like. One last question, Terry. What's your plan B if you don't get a cash offer that meets your need, or the net proceeds don't meet your needs? What's your plan B? Do you have a friend or a family member or neighbor or something that'll help you get your house listed and sold? Now, why do I ask that? I ask that because it's subtle and it's not in their face and it's not salesy. And then it gives me the roadmap of, are they going to be open to me to converting them to a listing? Or are they going to try and say, oh, I already have somebody helping me with that? I just want to know, because it will help me steer the ship on which path and what my conversation will be once I get there. Okay? Any questions so far?
Julie, so it sounds like what you're explaining is the conversation with the seller doesn't have to be anything related to who you are, what you do, how much real estate you sell. I mean, it sounds to me like you're just asking questions to get information out of the seller, not vomiting salesy stuff all over them. Would that be a fair assessment?
1,000,000%. So all I'm doing is they contacted, or they raised their hand at this point, at this moment in our journey together. They have raised their hand for one thing, and that is a cash offer. They want to know about a cash offer. So you must stay focused on answering that question only. That's all you're going to focus on at first. When we get there, I'm gonna talk to you about like how you can pivot off that once you have vetted, flushed out, and removed the fact that if a cash offer is going to work for them or not. If a cash offer is going to work for them and they're accepting of that concept and that maybe estimated net proceeds, then you're going to move into, breaking out your express offers disclosure and going down that path, right? But if they're not, all you're asking this initial questions for is to set you up to be able to pivot once you're there, which we can move on to if anybody has any questions, right? So I'm not saying anything about like, yeah, this is Julie Clark and I have so many options. I have multiple options I can discuss with you. Or, yes, we specialize in this or that. None of that. Just keep it focused. They ask for a cash offer. That's all you're going to initially talk about with them. Otherwise, it feels like a bait and switch or too salesy. Any questions on that?
Anybody has a question, go ahead and open up your mic. So one of the most important things that we want to convey to you, this group today, is for you to understand that Express Offers is a listing tool. Okay, you may get leads. The seller may raise their hand wanting a cash offer, or at least they think they want a cash offer, but frankly, they don't know what they don't know. So the script and the dialogue that Julie Clark is trying to convey to you will allow you to determine whether or not, well, first of all, how much they know, and second of all, whether or not their house or their situation would even qualify. Remember, we have the conversation about convenience versus top dollar. Some sellers don't understand that if they choose a convenience option, it's going to cost them money. Convenience is expensive. So, this one way or the other, we want our EXP agents to get the listing. Don't sweat it if either you don't submit for a cash offer or they don't get an offer. That's not our end game. Our end game is to get you.
I'm going to add a couple tips in there based on what Terry just said. So I like to throw in the word qualify. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions to see if your home qualifies for a cash offer? Why do I use that? Because that is like planting a little subtle seed, right? It's a under the radar seed that I am saying, let me see if your home qualifies for a cash offer. They don't ask me ever, does my home qualify for a cash offer? Because I'm going to go straight forward to setting the appointment. The reason I want to know if it qualifies for a cash offer, and I'm using that word, is so I can pivot later, right? Because I can say, well, it sounds like your home doesn't qualify for a cash offer because maybe they're choosing that they don't want it. Later, once I get there, we're going to cover that. But also, why I'm wanting to know if it qualifies for a cash offer ahead of time is because it helps me mentally prepare for how I'm going to carry the conversation past the cash. I might know before I get there, this isn't going to qualify for a cash offer. I might know that. Why am I going to go on the appointment anyways? Because it's a lead and I've asked the right questions, so I can basically pivot the conversation towards controlling the lead to do something else with it, to still convert that to a deal for myself, a transaction for myself. Okay. And so we use the word qualify, one, to plant a subtle seed that they don't realize at that moment that you might change the conversation later. And number two, the word qualify is so you can be prepared to know ahead of time, okay, this is what I'm going to do when I get there after I flush out the cash offer situation to continue the conversation and keep control. So if anybody has any questions about that, let me know. I saw somebody say, is this a two-step process?
Oh, go ahead, Julie, but Tim's got his hand raised too. So go ahead and answer Doug's question.
Yeah, as far as the two-step process goes, like if you get them on the phone, you're going to converse with them how we're talking, but no matter what, you're going to set that appointment, right? So no matter what, you're going to set that appointment. And I don't say, hey, Terry, I ask what their plan B is after I've already set the appointment. So the number one goal, aside from gathering intelligence, is to set the appointment no matter what. If you're texting with somebody and you're like, Hey Terry, this is Julie Clark with Express Offers. I've been notified of your potential interest in receiving a cash offer for your property. And then they might text back like, yes, how much? That they might text you back something like that, right? And what you're going to do then is you're going to say, um, I need to pop by for just 10 minutes to take a look at your property. Is there a good day or time for you? That's it. Okay. And if they say, just tell me over the text, if they give you a message like that, you're going to say, well, that's impossible. I don't have enough information yet. What that means, guys, is they're not motivated. If they just want you to give them a number off of, without you even going over the property, that means they're not motivated, and you need to not worry about it. Put them in their follow up bucket and continue to pursue. Like, you might even make up an excuse in that situation, 3 days later. Hey, Terry, I have an appointment over in your neighborhood. I'm like 10 minutes from there. Can I stop by for 10 minutes, take a quick look at your property so I can, crunch the numbers on a cash offer for you? Okay. That's like the text, follow up stuff there. So
Super
you got,
simple. So, we're getting a lot of comments in the chat box, Julie, that people are saying, wow, this is easy. Yes. Yes, this is easy. It's way easier than you think. And many agents are just overthinking this and making it way more complicated than it needs to be. I wanna see if Tim, you would raise your hand. You wanna unmute your mic and pose your question, please?
Yeah, thank you, Terry. May have missed this in the beginning, but these leads that you're talking about, because you said to focus the conversation on the cash offer, are these coming from Express Offers, some kind of platform that kind of gives you the leads, or are you talking about leads that we're taking on ourselves?
Well,
Both.
both, but I'm gonna let Julie
Yeah.
Rasmussen explain the lead process for
Yeah,
you real
you know what?
quick.
I'll drop the there's an article we wrote on how you can get leads from Express Offers. So, just to be clear, Express Offers is actually it's a big program, and the big program includes a software platform that we built here at EXP. And the goal of the platform is to offer an option to your seller clients to get a cash offer. So it's a way for you to, have one more conversation. It's basically, I love this thing because it's a conversation starter. So you can use this conversation with your family, your friends, your relatives. It doesn't matter. Everybody is super interested, even if they don't know anything about real estate. Whenever they ask me, what do you do for a living? And I tell them about Express Offers, since I'm the Express Offers program manager. And even people who have no clue about real estate are like, oh, that is the coolest thing. You can get a cash offer for your house. Nobody comes in it. Nothing happens. And I say, exactly. It's like the coolest thing. So just even a conversation starter, you guys. Just even saying that your company offers this program is very cool. And also it works with investors, by the way. So we need more investors in the platform, especially in certain areas. I'm sure some of you have seen the buy boxes and been like, oh my gosh, we don't have enough variety in my area. Well, we're counting on you guys. We didn't say this probably, but there's 80, I think 3 now, live iBuyers on the platform, and some of them are multi-state, some of them are just local to your area. And the way we got all of these iBuyers is from EXP agents. So we're not out there, Terry and I aren't out there searching for buyers. We count on you guys to reach out to investors in your area, be able to explain the program competently, and then see if they're interested in being an iBuyer on the platform. So we can talk about that later. I know I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here because we were talking about leads. So going back to the leads, I'll drop an article in here that we wrote. It's got 4 ways to get leads, basically. There's organic ways to get leads, and that is by making your own agent URL. So what happens is the seller goes to expressoffers.com, because it's getting more and more publicity, because Kevin Comiskey is our lead generation manager. You guys might know of him. He does the Making It Rain program, and he helped us create 2 different lead programs for Express Offers. And so those are out on Facebook, and they're starting to get a lot of attention by sellers, because I don't know if Terry noticed this morning, but we got about 10 leads coming in from different markets. We're testing it in Florida and North Carolina right now, and eventually it'll be Las Vegas would be probably our next area to target. And so what we're doing is we're putting out Facebook ads that go, divert sellers to expressoffers.com. And now these are referral leads. So you guys need to know that we're always transparent about everything with our program. And those leads are 35%. And basically, what's really cool about those leads in those three areas I just mentioned is that we have a new ISA department. And if you guys haven't seen the video, we have it it's right now on the pin post, like the main one inside of our workplace group. So you guys can go in there and watch the video just to meet the team. And what the cool is, we actually just hired another person named Victor, who is not in the video, but he just started on Monday. And what he does is follow up. So he's following up with you guys, the EXP agents that take these leads, and making sure that it goes through so we don't drop sellers and not take care of them. But, anyways, not to diverse too much on that, but if you watch that little video, you'll at least get to see the team. And so that's really cool because the ISA department, which is Inside Sales Associate, they are actually contacting the sellers that put their information onto our expressoffers.com website. They contact them, usually really quickly, and set up an appointment. So all you guys have to do is be competent, ready to go, and be able to answer the questions. And like Julie said, there may be limited buy boxes in that area, so you guys need to be able to do what she's saying and pivot and, be prepared to, well, address that basically. Remember how she said the first thing you need to do is address the cash offer? So that's the whole point. Because I think people
Right.
freak out when they see that there aren't enough buy boxes, right, Terry?
Yeah, so we run all kinds of different things we've got articles, we've got all kinds of information to bring you guys up to speed on the lead gen side of this. And so, obviously you got to get a lead before you're going to have the conversation, and that's what Julie Clark is talking about today. So let's circle back to having that actual conversation with a seller. So yes, there is a 35% referral fee. It comes off the top, just like every other referral fee. Guys, don't get hung up on a referral fee. Oh my
Right,
God,
right, Terry, because 35% of zero is.
is zero. 35%
Well,
of zero is
and
zero.
also, you guys, it's not there's not a referral fee if it comes from or is there? Maybe, I don't know. Is there a
From your
referral?
free URL.
From your free
It's
URL,
free.
it gets
Yeah,
emailed
from
to
your
you.
free URL. But
Yeah.
if you sign up for the one of the programs, that's different.
Right. There's paid lead generation, there's free lead generation. You can do your lead generation on your own, all kinds of
And then
different ways,
referral.
tools, tips, tricks, referrals. And so, yeah, that's a whole different class. Today, we want to talk about what happens when you get the lead, regardless of where it comes from. So, Julie Clark, what else you got?
I got a low battery, so you guys need to talk for 30 seconds while I go plug in. Hold on a second.
Okay, well, just to follow up on the article I just dropped in the chat, it explains clearly, without me just like digressing constantly when I'm talking, it explains clearly the four ways that you can get leads. And so, I don't remember which one it is on there, but the agent URL one is something that you guys can all do. It's free. So you can make your own posts on Facebook and say, if you want a cash offer, contact me. Or I should say, if you want a possible cash offer, because we don't want to overcommit to anything, you guys. So make sure in your marketing you're not overpromising and under-delivering, because that would not make your reputation be very good.
I'm all back, all good.
Yay!
Sorry,
And
got a
by
low
the
battery.
way, I am going to digress real quick.
Okay.
Do not, please, guys, don't send us messages going, there's no buy box available for me. Okay, we probably already know that, but what you need to do then is, and Julie can drop some more articles in here for us, help us find some.
Yep.
Reach out to investors in your backyard and help us find iBuyers if you don't have a buy box that fits your area. So, all right, Julie Clark, let's get back to our conversation with the seller.
Right on, right on. And I'll say one little extra point there is Express Offers is really great if you have a downline. If you sign up on the one of the programs, it generates leads that you can also use with your downline. I do that. It's fantastic, right? I either partner or get referrals if it's not in my own particular area. It's super awesome. All right.
Julie, you don't call them your downline, do you? What do you call your folks?
I have something called the VIP Education Community. I use the word community on purpose because it's not a team. It's a community of brokers, and they just all happen. That's what I call my downline. And I don't want to go too far down on that, but I train them all. It's like a private broker coaching community layered on top of eXp Realty. It's super awesome. So this is the kind of stuff we talk about. But all right, let's keep going here so we don't run out of time for these guys. So what do you do now? You're going to go on the appointment, right? First of all, how are you going to prepare to go on the appointment? What I do is you're going to prepare like you're going on any other appointment, right? And you can take the classes on how to calculate the ARV, minus the repairs and whatever the cash offer estimation is. Your goal is you want to get an estimate based on your conversation of the intelligence you gathered about their home and what you've researched online through your MLS or wherever you research your properties. An estimated net sheet that compares a cash offer versus a listing. And I have that in my hand. I don't always give it out because I might get there and the house looks completely different than how they explained it to me. But if it's in the ballpark, I'm going to hand that to them, that 1-page net sheet, so they can see the difference of the cash in their pocket between a cash offer, an estimated, right? I didn't go get the price from one of the iBuyers, right? I used the formula that you're taught in the Express Offers training classes, right? And it doesn't matter if you have the exact number because you're going to say, this is about an estimate. Really what it is, it allows you just to flush out the concept with them. If they are wanting to accept a cash offer, which means in a lot of markets, it means a discount. In some markets, it might not mean a big discount, depending on where you're at. If you're in Phoenix or some of these other places where it could be where the cash offer price might not be that far off of a list price. That's for you guys to figure out in your own markets, right? But what I'm going to do is when I get there, the first thing I do is say, hey, Terry, thanks for letting me come over today. I'll try to keep it short and sweet for you. How about we take a tour around your house? Show me, you want to give me a quick tour of your house and then we can circle up and talk for a minute. They always say, okay. So then we go and we do a tour of their house. And there's two things. I'm going to try and do the tour of their house twice, okay? The first tour of their house is really for me to determine, are the numbers that are on my net sheet close, in a range, right? That I can use my net sheet and hand it to them where it's not like way off because their house is completely different, either better or worse than I thought it was based on my phone conversation with them. So I'm walking through initially just getting an idea of their house, right? And you've done walkthroughs with people's house before, just do it like normal. Your house looks great, thanks. What improvements have you made in the last 5 years? Maybe point those out to me. I don't ask about repairs. I want to make a very major point to you that at that moment on that tour, I do not ask them like what repairs need to be, because that is something I save for later, okay, to help me keep control of the lead. So after I do a walkthrough of the house with them, I determine whether the net sheet that I brought is in the ballpark enough to show them, right? I don't want my numbers to be off by 50,000, but if they're off by 20,000 and the difference between their net proceeds on a listing versus a cash offer is like 40, 50, 60,000, which it is in the Seattle market at times, right? Then I'll hand that to them after I've talked to them. So I say, well, let's talk about you invited me over today to talk about an express offer, which is a cash offer for your property. So what I like to do first is just talk about the concept of what it means when you sell your home for cash. It means a quick, hassle-free sale that is purchased by an investor, of which we have a marketplace of multiple buyers that would be interested in making those offers, but they will offer to buy the house at a discount. Were you aware that when you sell your home for cash that there potentially could be a discount? Yes or no, whatever. Okay. I say, well, in your case, what we're looking at is the difference in net proceeds roughly could be around 20 or 30,000 or 30 or 40,000. I sort of just tell them, the point is, are you willing to accept $30,000 less in your pocket as compared to a listing? I'm flushing out. All they care about most of the time is the bottom line. Yes, they want a hassle-free situation depending on their unique personal situation. They want it to be hassle-free, okay? But they only want it to be hassle free up to a certain point, which means how much money are they getting in their pocket? Does it give them enough money to move on and buy their property or whatever they were going to use the money for? Does that net proceeds with the cash offer give them enough money to do whatever it is they want to do? Pay credit card bills, pay medical bills, go buy some toys, whatever they're doing, okay? And usually, so the point is, you're going to vet that out. The concept of a cash offer, right? And if it is that they're like yes, or the situation appears that it's going to work with a cash offer, then maybe hand them the net sheet, right? And then you're going to move into the disclosure documents and talk about how you can, if submit an offer through the Express Offers program, right? Follow your training. We're not going to go into the deep dive on that today. The point is, most of the time, it's probably not going to work, right? So what do? Let's say it doesn't work and they're like, oh man, that's way too low. Or no, I don't want to leave that amount of money on the table, right? If you get to that point in that discussion where you have vetted only the cash offer situation, that's what your goal is when you're on that appointment initially. Vet it out, flush it out. Does anybody have any questions on how to do that or what to say?
Will you discuss the other iBuyer platforms that are in your market at that point with the seller?
No.
What if they ask?
What do you mean the other? What do you mean the other?
Like, what if they say, well, I maybe I could get a better offer from Zillow or.
Yes. I think you should be prepared if you're in a market that Zillow and Open Door and all those things are, right? You want to keep control of that, I think. And I'll let Terry and Julie talk on that more because they're not in my market. But the answer would be yes. You want to, it doesn't matter who you get the offer from. You're not working for Express Offers, it's working for you. So if you have the opportunity to get them an offer from anywhere, that's what your goal is, right?
Yes, that's what we teach on Terry. So that's what
Yeah,
Terry says in her
absolutely.
training, that you definitely should know what's in your market first of all. So if I was you, I'd go to all of the big three sites and see if they're in your market first, if you really want to be serious about this. And then on top of that, you should be offering to get a cash offer for them from all the sources that you can get. And then you want to put them on a net sheet so that the seller can see all of their options in a simple format so that they know what to do. So yes, I would do that.
I would be like,
Absolutely.
yes, that's the
So,
great news is that I can get you an offer from the marketplace of buyers that we have and Express Offers, but I can also get you offers from Zillow or Open Door. And the great thing is I'll be able to help you navigate through the differences. Would you like me to do that? Would you like me to go get you, see how many, and they say yes. And then you say, okay, well, let's just double check and make sure that what we're talking, make sure we're on the same page here. You're willing to take a discount for your property. If maybe it's not, right? Maybe it's a pretty house and it's close. I don't know because I don't have Open Door in my market, right? But yes, control that conversation, be the one to bring them those offers because you can also help explain to them the difference between those offers, right? How can you add value? You need to think and say, once they say they'd like offers from multiple sources, how am I going to control that by adding value to them, right?
There's
At
a
that moment.
well, and one thing I
there's a
want
good
to throw
question, you
out there
guys,
too, you guys.
to put
One
in the
thing I
chat.
want to throw out there is it's really important for you guys to understand that this program is not a one and done. You don't want to go into this situation, into this opportunity having commission breath, because let's say for instance that they've already been clicking around and they already got an offer from Open Door, and Open Door is willing to take a loss on average of about $4,600 worth of losses every time they buy a house. Apparently they have enough money where they can do that, so that's going to be tough for us to compete with. So possibly the seller already had an offer from Open Door. Possibly it's very, very close to retail, but they didn't read the fine print. So as the trusted advisor, you're going to want to make sure that this seller understands the fine print, in that there's a convenience fee. You're going to want to break it down on a net sheet what that convenience fee looks like compared to what an express offer may look like, compared to what going down the traditional road may look like. Don't forget to factor in average market time. I know it's almost zero in most markets right now. But at the end of the day, guys, if that open door offer truly the best offer for that seller, say so. Solve
And
the
you know,
problem, smile, keep that client in your database long term, and walk away knowing that you gave the absolute best advice you possibly could that benefited that seller. Julie, would you agree?
yes, and you know what I would do in that situation also? If they said, well, yeah, I've already got an offer from Open Door, so I'm just looking for some comparisons, right? I would say, great, I can go to our marketplace of buyers and see if I would do that if you think that, you know, that you can get a competitive offer. But let's say you're like, oh man, for some reason you think you can't beat that. You know what I would say? I would say, well, Terry, that sounds like a decent offer. Let me ask you a question. That's an investor buying your house for a little bit of a discount. What if I brought you a retail buyer directly off market that was able to pay you more? Would that be something that you'd be interested in? See, you're keeping control of the situation there by, right? There's no reason you can't bring a retail buyer off market to one of these houses. If they say, I've got a offer from Open Door, I would immediately say, well, that's great. I'd be happy to look over that with you for no charge, even just to make sure that there isn't anything hidden in there, right? Don't worry about getting paid, guys, okay? I'd be happy to look over that offer for you just so you get a professional pair of eyes on it, right? Just as a courtesy. But let me ask you a question. Would you be willing to consider an offer from a retail buyer, you know, a buyer that's actually going to move in here and live in the property, because they typically will pay more than an investor? And since you already seem to have a great offer in your hand, would you be interested if I tried to get you a better offer? As long as maybe you had a little bit of time for that buyer to, you know, get their loan. That might take, you know, 21 days or something like that. Is that something, would you be interested in me, if I can deliver that to you, Terry? That's how I would
Absolutely.
handle that. Does that make
Because
sense?
now you're inspiring curiosity. You know, now the seller, remember, these guys, they don't know what they don't know. An
Well,
average
the point is they might not need to sell in 2 weeks. They might be fine to sell in 3 weeks or a month if they could get more money, right? They just don't want to list it for sale for whatever reason, right?
Okay, let's Rachel, open up your mic because I'm curious where your thought process is. So Rachel says, but if they're motivated to sell faster, then that might frustrate the seller.
Well, when you are talking to them, part of the discussion in your intelligence gathering is going to be talking to them about, so what are the reasons why you're thinking about considering a cash offer, right? And if they say to you, well, I need to be out of here in 2 weeks, well, then yeah, then you probably aren't going to do that, right? Unless you have a cash buyer that can buy the property that's, you know, retail. There's retail buyers out there, but that's a valid point. But you would have already vetted that out and known if they really need to move in 2 weeks, or if there's some other reason why they're considering a cash offer. You want to say that in the beginning, like, all right, Terry, you know, how come it is that you're considering to a cash offer potential instead of just a regular traditional sale, right? And you'll know. But Rachel, I think, was it that asked that? If they say, yeah, I need to be out of here in 2 weeks, then, you know, maybe you don't have the solution unless you can get them down the express offers path or some other quick sale path.
Absolutely.
You guys, there's
So
a couple of questions in the chat that we haven't addressed yet. So I know there was one that says, when would be the best time to show the net sheet, at the first visit or the second visit?
Well, it's not, I'm not saying I do it. I do it on the first visit if I feel like the net sheet that I brought is in the zone, right? Now, it depends on how much the spread is. If the spread is in their net cash proceeds is a lot, I don't need to necessarily even be on point so much. I don't even show it to them in that case, because I say I flush out the concept of, in your case, I can tell you, Terry, that a cash offer is likely going to mean that you're leaving $25,000 or $30,000, whatever the number is, on the table. Before we even go down that road, because I don't want to waste your time, would you be open to leaving that amount of money on the table versus a traditional or some other way of selling your property? Because you have some motivations or something that I'm unaware of that we haven't talked about yet. Okay, so to answer your question directly is, if they say yes, or if I'm in the ballpark, I hand it to them. But I always try and flush out the cash offer concept with them before I hand them anything. Okay, before I hand them anything. Then I give it to them afterwards, right? If it's in the zone, I will hand it to them. Does that make sense?
And then also, so for our program wise, Terry, obviously they would put it through the platform, get some offers, maybe get an offer from Zillow Offers or somebody else, and then put it in the net sheet and present it to them later, right?
That's right. So to Julie Clark's point, she is going in there with an estimation simply based on her market knowledge and the information she gathered from the seller on a phone conversation. She hasn't even seen the property yet. So she's doing just kind of a mock-up as an example, as an estimate, if she needs to pull that out of her trick bag, right?
Right.
But chances are she is going to already have figured out what they need on that initial phone conversation. Do they need convenience, or are they interested in top dollar? If they're interested in top dollar, they may not even understand the concept of a cash offer situation. And so Julie is going to go through the concept of a cash offer and inform
In
them
person,
simply. Yeah,
not on
in
the
person.
phone.
Right. And educate them, right? You're going to
Right.
educate them as to what a cash offer really means. Well, at that point in time, there's going to be plenty of sellers that are going to push back immediately. And they're going to go, oh, okay, I get it. I didn't realize I would have to take a 30% haircut if I wanted a cash offer.
Right.
Well,
You want to save that conversation when you're in person, because that, now we're getting to that point where you're going to be able to pivot, right? Because you're going on an appointment, and the whole point of going on the appointment is to add value to them, right? So initially, you're only going to talk about a cash offer. You're going to go there. You're going to say, hey, Terry, let's take a quick walk around your house and, do a quick tour, and then we can circle back up and talk about, express offers. Go on the tour. You're deciding whether your net sheet that you brought is in the zone, valid or not, right? You're hanging on to it. Then when you get back, you're going to say, all right, Terry, let's talk about express offers. First, what I like to do with people is I like to just talk to them about the concept of what it means to take a cash offer. Because cash offers are made by typically investors. And therefore, your house is nice or this or that, and I'm going to get straight to it. In your case, you'd probably be leaving $30,000 on the table to accept a cash offer from an investor, because an investor is in business to make a profit, right? They're unemotional about this. They're not going to move into the house. They're either going to remodel it or they're going to rent it out. And therefore, they need to make a profit. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. Okay. Well, in your case, to sell to an investor to have a quick close, you're probably looking at leaving $20,000 or $30,000 on the table, or $30,000 or $40,000 on the table. So we don't waste a lot of time here. Is that something that you would consider, right? Because I would never tell you, Terry, to accept that unless there's some reason that I don't know about, that you have some circumstances that might make it beneficial for you to, move that quick and accept that type of discount, right? And then zip it. And they'll say, nope.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't need, there's nothing that I need to do to take a $30,000 discount, right? Now, all day long, people will take $10,000 to $20,000 discounts for convenience. They will. When you get beyond that, I find, this is in my experience, that once you get beyond kind of the $15,000 mark, maybe 20, unless there's some distress, unless there's a unique circumstance that is motivating them to take it, they're not going to want to leave more than $15,000 or $20,000 on the table, right? Most of the sellers that you're going to talk to are not going to be in the position to do that or want to do that. They just don't know what they don't know. They're curious about a cash offer, they've heard about it, and so they think my house is cosmetically outdated. There's nothing wrong with it. The bones are great. I don't have any leaks. It's cosmetically outdated. So maybe I should just get a cash offer. They don't realize their cosmetically outdated house will still sell for top dollar to a retail buyer these days.
Julie, isn't that the beauty? Isn't that the miraculous beauty of this platform?
It is. So the point is that this is a lead generation tool using the message of cash offer to start the conversation. That's it. So it can go any direction, but when you're using it, since that's what the message was that got their attention, you need to focus on getting that answered and off the table and vetted before you move on to anything else. So now let's talk real quick about moving on to anything else. Let's say they say, "Oh, that's not going to work for me. No way, I'm not going to leave that. I'm not that motivated. I'm not in that big of a rush. I don't need to do that." Then you say, "Great, because Terry, I would never tell you to do that, right? Unless there was some reason." I agree with you, right? I wouldn't recommend that you take that big of a discount because your home's beautiful. You got a great location here. Your house has great bones. And they say, "Yeah, that's right." Then I say, "Then it sounds like that's not going to work out for you." Hopefully what I've done, Terry, is I've provided you some good information here today, so you don't have to wonder anymore, right? You don't have to call back all those people leaving you voicemails on cold calls about making you a cash offer. You don't have to, call back all those postcards or letters that you got, because they're all going to be around the same ballpark. And if you're not willing to leave that 20,000 or 30,000, 40,000 on the table, then hopefully what I've done is saved you a lot of time that now you can just move on with your alternative plans. Do you feel like we accomplished that today, Terry? That's why I'm calling Terry the seller.
Yes,
right?
you did. Yes,
They
you did a fine
always
job.
say
Thank you
yes.
for giving me that information.
They always say yes. Thank you so much for giving me that information. And I say, yeah, I just want to make sure that you're fully informed. But I'll tell you what, Terry, since I'm here anyways, I think there are some solutions that might work better for you. If you got another 10 minutes, we can talk about that since I'm here anyways.
Here we go, you guys. Write this down. This is the best line ever, and I've seen them all. Say it again, Julie.
After you ask them and confirm with them and get a yes out of them that you just provided them great information to vet the cash offer, should they or shouldn't they look at cash offers, right? And they say, "Yes, thank you for that valuable information." You say, "Great, Terry, since I'm here anyways," those are the words, "since I'm here anyways, there are some potential other things that I might actually, or some other potential solutions that might match up better with your needs. Do you want to take 10 minutes and talk about that since I'm here anyway?"
That is money. That's the money shot right there, you guys. Since I'm here anyways, can I talk about other potential options for you?
Now remember, here's important. Remember, what is the last question I asked them after I set the appointment? "Okay, Terry, we'll see you on Tuesday, talk about a cash offer." And then I say, "Terry, what's your plan B? Real quick, what's your plan B? If you don't get a cash offer that meets your needs, do you have a friend or a family member, a neighbor that's going to help you get your house sold or listed for sale?" Okay, based on that answer that I asked originally on the phone call. Now, if I did a text, I can't do that, right? So I might say that in the beginning when I'm vetting out the cash offer process. I might ask that question, right? But otherwise on the phone, I vetted it. I know whether they're like, "Yeah, my brother's an agent," or "Yeah, we have an agent we work with for 5 years that does all our family stuff," or whatever they want to say. If they give you a roadblock, you know that it's going to be sensitive. You're not going to go on there and say, "So let's talk about how I can help you get it listed for sale." You're never going to say anything like that. Okay, that's salesy. That's all that stuff. You're just simply going to continue now. You've already offered them value once. You're going to continue to offer them free value. Since I'm here anyways, and you have plans to get your house sold, I find, this is what I do, I transition into this. I find that oftentimes sellers think they need to prep their house or do more repairs than are actually necessary before they get their home sold. And since we know that you're not going to be able to do an as is cash offer, right? You might be able to do an as is listing, but in order to maximize the value of your house now, since that seems to be more important to you, are there any repairs that you think might need to be made? Like if you were going to stay here, Mr. Seller, what repairs do you think need to be made? Or what would you think needs to be made? What repairs need to be made to your home before you sell it if you end up going the traditional route? I'm not saying I'm going to help you go the traditional route, you guys. See that? I'm saying just tell me what repairs. And I say you want to do a quick tour, show me the repairs that you think may or may not need to be done, because I think that sellers oftentimes think they need to do more than they really do. And since I'm here anyways, I'm happy to just say, do that, don't do that, do that, don't do that. People find there's a lot of value in that. So if you got 5 minutes, let's do another quick walkthrough. Does that sound good? They always say yes. That's why when I first get there and do the walkthrough, I do not talk about repairs that are home or anything, because I leave it for my pivot once I flush out the fact that the cash offer is going to be off the table. Okay? I'm leaving myself, it's like playing pool, right? I'm setting it up, right? So now I walk through and I just give them the information. Do this, don't do that. Do this, don't do that. As if they were going to list it for sale. I'm not talking about listing it for sale. I'm just giving them that information. You guys follow what I'm doing?
Yeah, Julie, that's great. We've got about 3 minutes left, guys. I want to be respectful for everybody's with everybody's time. Julie Rasmussen, did we have any questions that we missed in the chat box?
I'm going to say one last thing, guys, though. So after you do that, because we got to wrap it up and tie it in a bow for these guys. The point of doing that is that you're leading them down a path of you providing value after value after value to them, right? With nothing in return. Then after that, you're going to talk about like how it's a competitive market today and how there are, there's actually a process, to attempt to try and set up competitive situation for their home. You're going to talk to them about how whatever it is in your market, how you would suggest that somebody go about selling their home, right? In my market, I'd say, let me give you some tips today on what is going to be best if to get the highest price for your home. I didn't say I'm going to list it. All I'm doing is giving them the tips. What I recommend you do these days, I'm saying to the seller in my market, is that you get a home inspection done, that you do it ahead of time, as well as a sewer scope, and you provide that to the buyers. Why would I suggest that you do that? Because it's so competitive out there in our market, they're making non-contingent offers. And to do that, they have to get an inspection and a sewer scope done, right? And that costs them $700 a pop. And if they keep losing on their offers, they're going to sit back unless it's their cry house. If we provide that sort of information to them up front in the beginning, it opens up the buyer pool to generate, ideally, I don't have a crystal ball, but in theory, it does it for me almost every time, a competitive situation. So if you'd like to know more about how to set your house up for, the maximum price in a potential competitive situation, we can keep talking if you got time today. That's what I say to them. Just give free value, free value, free value. By the time you're done, they're like, we want you to help us, because you've given them so much free information, right? After you have focused on only the cash offer. Can we keep talking since I'm here anyways?
There you go. Wow. Julie, you have given us a fire hose worth of information today. And, Julie Rasmussen and I cannot thank you enough for the time, the dedication, the information, the support you have given this Express Offers program. We thank you so very much. Thank you for taking your time today. Agents, if you have questions, you need to workplace chat. Julie Rasmussen and I do us both so that one of us, we tag team all day long. One of us will be able to answer you almost right away. Use workplace chat. If you have a topic that you want to talk about. And I mean, honestly, we could sit here for 2 more hours. The three of us were on a Zoom call last night for over 2 hours, and we could easily make this class another hour, but I want to stay on time. And we will continue to have our 105 classes. We're going to have iBuyer conversations. We've got Zoom calls with iBuyers. Dial in to our workplace page. And Julie Clark, thank you
Yeah.
so very
I was
much.
gonna say,
We're,
you guys are
we're going to go
welcome to
ahead and
reach
wrap it
out.
up.
Oh, they
Go
can
ahead.
reach out to me on the chat, also, or if you're not, at EXP yet and you're just visiting today, I'm happy to talk to you guys. You can reach out to me. Just plug into my Seattle Investors Club channel and you'll be able to hit me up or look me up on Facebook and send me a message, however you want to do that.
Fantastic. And by the way, you guys, we'll go ahead and copy the transcript of the chat. If we didn't get to your question, we'll go back through and make sure that we send you a workplace chat with the answer to your question if we didn't catch it. So thanks, everybody. Have a super terrific day.